Hi, this is Michelle Leahy with Reedy Press. Today I'm joined by Carolyn Mueller. Carolyn is the author of several books on St. Louis and Missouri, from its history to its natural wonders. She has spent the last decade living within 2 miles of Forest Park and countless hours and miles exploring the bike paths and running trails. Thanks for joining me today, Carolyn. So I'm excited that your book is out during this time of social distancing, and luckily we can still take walks in our parks to get out. Carolyn, what are the different ways that you would recommend us using this book?
So I think the book is really helpful right now because nobody really has any plans anymore except for going on walks. It's kind of the popular thing to do. So the book is a great way to facilitate that. As long as city parks are open, people can go and enjoy Forest Park. The book helps to guide your walk. You can choose different routes depending on what you're interested in, depending on how long you want to walk for. There's different routes that you can choose from the book. It's just a great way to explore Forest Park and then also learn a little bit about the history and the sites and sculptures and areas that you're seeing within the park.
Yeah, so I mean, I know that you've spent your lifetime coming in and out of Forest Park, but what's something that you discovered when researching for this book?
So I actually didn't know that the River de Pere flows beneath Forest Park, which I thought was really interesting. A lot of the park is shaped by the 1904 World's Fair, which I think everybody kind of grows up in St. Louis hearing about. There's not very many permanent structures left over from the fair, but when you look at the park and how it's been impacted, a lot of it came from either preparing for the fair or from funds that were earned during the fair. So the River de Pere was running through the park and it was gross and smelly and people were treating it like a sewer. And when the World's Fair was getting ready to be held in the park, everyone thought, this is disgusting, we can't have this. So they actually encased it in pipes and it runs underground now. They hid it underground. So now it's kind of just like this feat of civil engineering that it's running through these big concrete pipes underneath Forest Park. And after hours and hours and hours in Forest Park, I had no idea that was, the case. So that was really interesting. And for me, I think the best part was I've spent so many, like I said, hours running and cycling and walking in the park and looking at these sculptures or these different areas or gardens or whatnot. And I didn't really know what each of them meant or why they were there or who these people were and the statues and things like that. So it's been really eye-opening to get to discover that and learn about these people that kind of impacted St. Louis and impacted Forest Park.
Yeah. So there are, of course, so many beautiful, beautiful parts in Forest Park. I'd like to know what's your favorite.
So I have a couple of favorites. It's hard to pick just one. And I think for me, my favorite places in the park are places that I have a personal connection to. And I think that's what people will discover by using this book. They will make memories in the park and kind of develop those personal stories and areas that mean something to them. So for me, I love, of course, the St. Louis Zoo is one of my favorite places in the park. I've worked there for a long time. It's been my favorite place since I was a little kid. The bridge to Picnic Island, I think, is a beautiful spot. It's a suspension bridge kind of at the base of Art Hill area. And I got engaged at the bridge to Picnic Island. So I love that bridge. And then I think probably my favorite general area of the park is Kennedy Forest. I just think it's a beautiful area for walking and bird watching and just kind of getting to decompress in nature and kind of get away from the hustle and bustle of the city. And, you're in the city, you're in St. Louis, but it's a beautiful wooded area to kind of just relax. And I personally took my wedding photos there because I just love that area so much.
Yeah, it is so beautiful. I feel so fortunate to live in the city where Forest Park is. What do you hope that this book tells people about Forest Park in St. Louis?
Like I mentioned, I hope it kind of, for locals, I hope it helps them to learn a little bit about our history and open their eyes, as the research did for me, into these different places and spots in the park and why they're named a certain name or why this statue of this certain person is there, and just kind of learn a little bit about that history. And I hope it also encourages visitors and locals alike to get out there and explore the park, stretch their legs, and do the thing that everybody's doing right now, which is kind of slowing down and reconnecting with the joy of walking. You know, the joy of just putting one foot in front of the other and discovering what's around the next corner.
So I agree that this book is really perfect for people who live in St. Louis or those that are just visiting. Where can people go to get a copy of your book?
So the book can be found wherever books are sold. If you want it personalized, you can always order it from my website, which is www.carolynelizabethmiller.com.
Perfect. All right, Carolyn, thank you so much for writing this beautiful book, and I can't wait to start walking. Thanks so much.